Good evening, everyone. Welcome inside the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. Matthew Carrick in for the JVI Sports Network tonight as we present Senior B playoff action between the Oakville Titans. You see them on the top of your screen there, getting set to take the floor against the Six Nations Rivermen. This is game number 3 of the best of 5 series, which is now a best of 3 effectively, as both teams picked up victories in the first game of this series, both on home floor as well. We started here at the track last weekend, 7-4 victory for Oakville over Six Nations. And at Gaylord Palace a few nights ago, Six Nations defeating Oakville 10-9 in triple overtime, a thriller out there in Six Nations. That's Oakville right there in the blue jerseys. White jerseys, baby blue shoulder caps. And Six Nations will be down in the left-hand side in the black jerseys with the red helmets. We're going to have a brief pregame ceremony here, which will include a moment of silence for Tom Suckamore and recognition of the Type 2 Provincial C champions, who are the minor team in the red shirts there. Let's pause for the anthem and pregame.
Thank you. Secondly, tonight, the Oakville Titans are very, very proud to present in the corner here the Burlington 2, the Type C champions this year at the festival. And finally, if we please rise for the singing of our national anthem.
Quick look before we begin at the top playoff performers for the two teams here tonight, starting with the Six Nations Rivermen. Greg Longboat Jr., who will wear number 92 tonight. Wayne Van Every with 24 points, and then Roger Weiss as well. See him with 15 points there at the bottom. On the Oakville side of things, Cree Blakely leading the pack, 26 points, 11 goals, 15 assists. Matthew Lee not in the lineup tonight. He's out in San Diego for the NLL Combine, we were told. But Nick Ribka, the assistant captain, is in the lineup. His 17 points so far tonight. Starting goaltender for Six Nations is Warren Hill, who has 4 wins, 1 loss, a .649 goals against average. And on the other side, Craig Wendy, who is riding the momentum of a fantastic couple of months. Most of them here in this building with the Oakville Titans, and of course in winter ball as well with the Toronto Monarchs. Again, Six Nations in black, the first possession to Oakville in white, going right to left, and they'll get an early 1-0 lead here as that shot hits off Warren Hill and ends up in the back of the net. Quick breakout play for Oakville off the first possession. Dallas Bridle breaking the ice. John St. John getting an opportunity to get some play time here with the Oakville Titans is St. John after starting the year with the Cobourg Kodiaks. Being traded to the Brampton Excelsiors and now here in the playoffs with the Oakville Titans. Six Nations crashing in now. Big pile up in the crease of Craig Wendy, and we get a whistle from the trail official, John Sutcliffe. He's joined by Roger Nurse tonight as the two officials. Bridle coming down the right side. It's passed back up top to John St. John. He tries to crash through the middle. And a big collision there. He was held at bay by Wenster Green. Ball pops loose. Big collision while it was still down. Cage board goes down. But interference called against Johnny Ray. Name that we haven't heard a lot of here in Ontario for a couple years. Of course, he was a great winter player a few years back. Good summer player as well. Part of a St. Catharines Saints President's Cup run and championship, if I'm not mistaken, as well as a Barrie Blizzard Winter Championship. Picked up here, Six Nations. 3 20-minute periods here in Senior B. From the far side, a sidearm shot released by Jayden King. And Wendy drops down. You'll see that a lot from Craig Wendy, going low to protect the stick. As a hustle play here from Jake Cook, they get it back up top, and Eddie Renault, former, if I'm not mistaken, Junior B Oakville Buzz player. Look at the transition now from Six Nations as the Rivermen get right on top of the crease, and another save made there off the arm of Craig Wendy. That was King with another chance. Interesting yellow ball in play right now. I know that was a topic of conversation back at the Worlds a few weeks ago as Renault drops about 3/4 down and off the pipe and in behind Hill, and that'll make it 2-0 early on here for the home side. As we set off the top, both home teams taking early leads. Or pardon me, taking both wins so far in this final series. And the early lead now for Oakville, as Renault and Dallas Bridle have given them an early 2-0 lead. Like to, before we get too far in here, thank the Titans for allowing us in to do this game tonight, free on our YouTube channel. You've been enjoying the Junior C Meredith Cup as well. All alone in front. Everyone had headed up the floor except for Cree Blakely. Again, the top playoff scorer for the Titans coming into tonight's game. But Warren Hill gets a save out of the way with a man right on top of him, and that should settle him into tonight's game. Off the wall, over the top. That's, pardon me, Joe Miracle. Almost said Roger Weiss. He's got that same build, and coming over the top is exactly it's the Roger Weiss play, but every time we see Miracle on the floor now, it's always very good, because a few winters ago we saw him go down very awkwardly and ugly. Missed nearly an entire year, but is back now with the Rivermen. This shot off the top of the crossbar right in the corner of the post and the crossbar on a sidearm from Race Weiss. And it bounces all the way down the floor where Warren Hill has to come out of his crease to take it. Best opportunity so far for the Rivermen as we've played just over 4 minutes here in the first period. And now they're going to get another one cutting to the net. That is Roger Weiss. His shot bounces off of Wendy. Round the back now through the crease by Greg Longboat. He is the Rivermen's playoff scoring leader, as we said earlier on. As now Ryan Johnston brings it over center. Nick Ribka cutting through the middle. Ribka's shot. Warren Hill steps up, and he'll send that one aside. Ashton Jacobs up towards center. Miracle now to the far boards, quickly pushed into the corner. 15 on the shot clock here for the Rivermen. Miracle was setting a pick, didn't realize the loose ball was at his feet. As now they go back to the far side one more time. Couple whacks from the Titans defender and a bounce shot just trying to beat the shot clock. Fooled Wendy. Is that Dylan Lord? I believe it is Dylan Lord. With the bouncer that fools Craig Wendy and pulls the Nations team back within one goal. Worth mentioning tonight for Six Nations, Riley Montour, Brendan Muse, Marcus Elvin, Kyle Isaacs, Wayne Hill, and Denton Miller. Players out of the lineup based on the sheet we were given at the door. Draw team able to control this loose ball by Blaze McCullough. And now the offense set to go to work. Bridle. Back for Ribka again. Ribka fending off the high defensive pressure off his stick. And here comes Tom Montour. Montour, those long legs taking him quickly down the floor, and full splits made by Wendy to get the right arm on it. And another save as Rod Squire will now head off. Part of that 3-on-2 rush that the Rivermen sent down the floor most recently. Here's Weiss off the bench. Backing away from pressure, now going back up top for Wayne Van Every. Van Every double picks in front of him. He elects to pass off. Now out of the reach of Weiss. 5 on the shot clock as it's corralled off the wall. And a low shot sails just wide of the net. Off the stick of Riley Miller. For Oakville tonight, no Kyle Pereira, Dan Craig, Jamal Shears, and we already talked about Matthew Lee. Loose ball here as the Oakville player was knocked down. Blindly sent back to the near side by Ashton Jacobs, but Oakley Thomas there to keep the play alive. 13 minutes remaining in our first period of 20. 20 minutes, that is, not 20 periods tonight, obviously. We have scheduled 3, but of course, like we said, it took nearly 6 before we claimed a victor in game number 2. So you might want to strap in here tonight, folks. Tie up on the far side, Dylan Lord. And I think that's Chris Young now in front of the Oakville bench. And just a possession call there. Roger Nurse came all the way up from center. After the whistle, you could hear him yelling at them to calm it down, but no penalties out of that exchange. As it looks like the referee's going to let him play this one out here tonight so far. Into the logo, the Rivermen player went through the crease. Trying to pick it up was Riley Johnson. So Oakville now taking over in their own end. Dallas Bridle opened things up. That was followed by Eddie Renault. And most recently, Dylan Lord, a bounce shot. Taking us to a 2-1 lead right now for the Titans. Man all alone in the far corner looking for it. Now accepts the pass. A sidearm shot there. Gets behind Hill. He had a peek, but it's going to roll out back through the crease. Roger Nurse right there looking in as Kessler Doolittle was taken down. Or pardon me, took down the Oakville player. Up over center now, a big slash on Weiss. He looks to the official, and as I said, it looks like they're going to let them play this one out here tonight. Sidearm shot partially blocked. I'm not sure that Trevor Smith got any ball more than the head of the stick. Definitely made a big noise. Shovel shot right to the crease. Where is it? And stays in front of Wendy, as even he wasn't sure. So the last two trips down the floor now, both Warren Hill and Craig Wendy looking behind them. Two goaltenders who have been pretty solid so far this year. We showed you their stats at the start of the game. Still trying to get settled. Bouncer off the left foot of Warren Hill into the corner. Big hit coming. I believe that was Brock Farmer, if I'm not mistaken. Picked up out of the pile. It's going to be a clean breakaway here. As racing in is Rod Squire, who scores, and that'll tie it up at 2. And it is a home game for Oakville, but there is a lot of Six Nations fans here in the building below us. 2-2, 10.5 left to play here in the first period. As Rod Squire on the breakaway. Face-off win here. Looks like Riley Johnson pushing it back to Doolittle. He'll hold on, get the draw team off the floor. Now Dylan Lord is going to play a little hidden ball trick. Pretty easy with the yellow ball to see that Riley Miller has it. Miller will go back to Lord. A stumble there from the top defenseman. But the rising shot sails high off the end, but glass. Cam Mancini, a rough shift for him as he goes down again. Shot handled by Wendy, though. And now Mancini is going to pick up this ball and stumbled on the first attempt. And he slams his stick against the boards. That was a rough shift for 14 Blue. And he's still going after the wall over on the bench. Another errant pass, and another time that 3 Rivermen break out. Racing in, the shot from Wenster Green with the wooden stick. Save made by Wendy, and now the Titans want to push. Josh Jubenville, transition superstar in the Minto Cup, and the Arrows run to that championship last year. Led the charge that time, but Warren Hill there to make the save. No room for Ashton Jacobs to run it over center this time. So he'll send it back towards his bench. It's one thing we were told before the game started. The Oakville Titans, a younger team, like to run. And that, they feel anyways, benefits them in hotter arenas. It is air conditioned here. But places like tomorrow night at the Gaylord Palace Arena, where it does get hotter, the few trips they made out to Brooklyn, Oshawa area this year. The oldest 2 players on this lineup are Craig Wendy and Kyle Pereira, who's not in the lineup tonight. Wendy and Pereira, born in 1991, and like I said, they're the 2 oldest players on this roster. We don't have birth dates and ages for the Rivermen, but they do have some older players, as Van Every shovels it by. Older being a relative term, but being a younger roster, they feel it is beneficial. As Jubenville again, I think that's Chris Young in transition. Young signaling Brett Olbickus, who fed him that pass. And that regains Oakville the lead. It's up to 3-2 now. As Chris Young jumped up in transition alongside Olbickus, and Olbickus finds Young, who puts it behind Warren Hill. Wendy picking up another assist here in the playoffs, as he has a bunch of those. Rivermen now setting up as they control the face-off. Far side, spinning back. Played into the corner. 4 players emerging now as it's sent back up top by Riley Miller and Greg Longboat. Longboat for Race Vice, 8 on the shot clock. As again, the defender jumping onto the stick of Miller, and that's Ryan Johnson. Putting in work to gain the shot clock violation. A lot of shot clock talk this week, especially today, as I understand south of the border, a 60-second shot clock coming into effect. One of the discussions that was had in the field game. 6.5 remaining here at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. A minor tournament taking place this weekend, which does feature some American teams. As a bouncer through the legs, Eddie Renault's got his second of the game as he cuts towards the crease, and a bouncer getting through the legs there of Warren Hill. 4-2. Quick start now for the Oakville Titans. Who defeated their first round opponent, the Brooklyn Redmen. Took them 5 games, but they did get there over the Merchants, and then taking game 1, 7-4. Look there at Craig Wendy and Jesse Legault, the Burlington Chiefs graduate player. That other Six Nations series went the distance as well. Full 5 games against the Owen Sound North Stars. And we're tied here in the Senior B Finals. Winner heading out to the President's Cup in Nanaimo between August 26th and September the 2nd. Errant ball bouncing off a body. Wenster Green trying to bring it down. Thought he had a path to the net, but looked back to find Riley Johnson. Riverman player has gone down, and there's Wayne Van Every in the face of an Oakville player on the far side. As Dylan Lord now does get back up. The Rivermen, like we said, full 5 games needed there to take out the Owen Sound North Stars, and then they win game 2, 10-9 in overtime, as they're on the road to the President's Cup. 4-2 here in game number 3. As Roger Weiss goes into the corner, Weiss back again. We thank those of you who are tuning in live. We understand there was an issue with the link getting sent out as Jubenville picks up. Nice hustle play back by Greg Longboat to make sure he can't go anywhere. So Jubenville just going to hang on now and wait for the offensive unit to take to the floor. Renault with 2 already in the period. 5 minutes remaining in our first, as Renault now gets taken down as he shovels it into the corner late in the shot clock. Wayne Van Every up on defense that time. So if you are tuning in and you know someone that was looking for the game and has not yet found the link, please do share this one with them. Also on our channel, the Meredith Cup links, which I think is one of the ones that got sent in errant. As the Rivermen try to send this one back up top, Brandon Slade. Late shot there. They say the shot clock sounded just before Van Everett could get it in on Craig Wendy. Brandon Slade re-signing with the Toronto Rock to take him into training camp. Practice roster player last year. With a decent shot to crack the active lineup. Oh, look at that shot and goal from John St. John over the shoulder on a bounce through the legs of Warren Hill. That's a beauty from John St. John to make it 5-2 now. Gorgeous shot on the run, behind the back, over the shoulder, bouncer through the legs of Warren Hill. And he gets a couple taps on the back as he heads back to the bench. Loose ball pushed down into the Six Nations zone. Brett Olbick is nearly into the crease, but does keep it out. He'll head into the corner now. Double teamed and taken down just as ball was shoved away. Speaking of shoving away, Riley Johnson, a little extra parting shot on Brett Olbick is there. As play goes back the other way. Lord circling the crease. Up for Van Every. Van Every through to Howdice Miracle. His shot. Like just underneath the left shoulder there of Wendy. Pass coming up to the restraining line. Van Every in the face of Ryan Johnson. Sutcliffe having a word now with Wendy after that exchange. Looked like it was friendly between those two. Couple big slashes down low in the corner and getting up and into the back was Chayton King, and that was an aggressive shift from King as we have 3 minutes remaining here in the period. Trying the bounce pass to get it around Van Every from the ground, swings his stick up at Gage Board, the captain of the Titans, and that was in front of Sutcliffe. And once again lets everything go. Slade to the far side, back. Look at the ball movement as it finally gets to Ribka and finds the mesh in behind Warren Hill. My goodness, a beautiful passing play from the Titans, as they've jumped it up to a 6-goal lead here. And I think that's going to be it for Warren Hill. Chase Martin normally backs up Hill here for the Rivermen, but it's Keegan Thomas tonight. And Thomas is going to get the call here. Again, tomorrow night at the Gaylord Palace Arena in Six Nations. Game number 4 of this series. Someone will have a chance to clinch a berth in the President's Cup tomorrow night. So if you're watching and not busy, that's going to be the place to be. GVI Sports Network crew will be in Wilmot on Sunday afternoon, a 3 p.m. start in game number 4 of the Meredith Cup, where Wilmot took game 1 at the Wilmot Recreation Complex. Van Every going right over the top, and it looked like in the helmet of the Oakville Titans player who gets rid of the face mask. It's Chris Young who heads off, has a word now. I said Van Every, it's Dylan Lord who's going off. Old Bick has had something to say. Kessler Doolittle in to defend his man. And 2 for high stick. Looks like 2 for high stick. Our first penalty of the game is one that was definitely earned. The Titans bench thinks that 2's a little low for that infraction, but Lord will be in the box in their first look at the power play tonight for the Oakville Titans. Up top, Bridle takes no time. A rough power play and not a warm goaltender, a goalie who doesn't play a lot. And just like that, 7-2 as Bridle gets his second. On the power play, and Warren Hill has returned to the cage. 2 minutes remaining here in the first period. Stalemate, it looked like, on the draw between Ashton Jacobs and Chris Young. As Jacobs swiped at it, but Young had it in the back of his stick. Pick and roll nearly worked as Nolan Apers. Pass was a little high for him. Back for John St. John. He'll send it to the right side now. Cree Blakely. Man hard on him in the corner as they chase down the loose ball. And the Rivermen able to get there first, and it's Kessler Doolittle securing the possession. Now over center by Greg Longboat. Longboat collides. Ball down here as a bit of a pick. Jubinville off to the races. He's now going to beat his second Rivermen player. Can't beat the third in Warren Hill, who puts the shoulder in front of the shot. Two players very familiar with each other as they matched up. I believe Jubinville was there on the Arrows team when Warren Hill was. Here's Miracle, whose shot finds its way into the midsection of Wendy. And back up over center is Slade. We're 40 seconds remaining in the period. That shot should reset the shot clock. And it does. 36 left, so the Rivermen can't take this all the way down. There will be about 6, maybe a bit more seconds for Oakville to work with it should they get it back. Riley Johnson into the pile, and another spinning bounce shot. That's what fooled Wendy before, and they're checking to see if they want timeout. Now they're actually checking to see if that hit off the goalie. Sutcliffe was blocked out, it looked like, asking Roger Nurse if it bounced off his right foot. Wendy was saying it didn't, as you would expect. And they come out of the huddle and they do say, I'm not sure if they fully said reset, or it looked like Roger Nurse may have said interference to give the Rivermen the ball. All of that delay was enough to get Hill on the bench for the final 10 seconds here. Around the back, far side, out in front, while being taken down. Miracle with the shot. Wendy looking up the floor. Couple chops to the far side, and Wendy will just send it to open space, as he'll be happy to see his Oakville Titans take a 5-goal lead after the first period, 7-2. Here in game number 3 of the Ontario Senior B Finals. Again, our crew on Sunday, the Meredith Cup at 3 p.m. back at it. And then next week, the Founders Cup with game action beginning on the 14th through to the 18th, which is next Saturday, the gold medal game. I believe still looking for broadcast sponsors for that. If you head to our Twitter page at JVI Video, you can see how you can get involved and support those broadcasts. They will be free all week as well out at the Founders Cup. As we look down the floor, the Tyke Seas are picking teams here, putting their sticks in the center as they get set for their intermission mini game. And then this is the first time we're announcing this one as well. September the 2nd out at the Oshawa Civic Fields, the JVI Sports Network, the Alumni Cup Under 15 Canadian Field Lacrosse Championships, and the First Nations Trophy, the Under 18 Canadian Field Lacrosse Championships at Oshawa Civic Fields from Friday, August 31st to Sunday, September 2nd. The JVI Sports Network will be there as well. So a lot of lacrosse action coming your way on JVI. Be sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a minute of the action. We're going to step aside here briefly, but be back as the Oakville Titans have a 7-2 lead after the first period of play. Second period resumes from the Toronto Rock Athletic Centre in Oakville, Ontario, in about 7.5 minutes' time.
Hi, I'm Dan Dasson, Team Canada captain. We just won the Heritage Cup, and our goal is to grow this game across this amazing nation and around the world. And the way we do that is get sticks in the hands of kids early and often. Give them leadership skills, confidence to play a sport that is amazing both in life and on the floor.
Lacrosse, our game, our country, our national summer sport.
I'm so happy that day my son came home and said, "Mom, can I play lacrosse?" And I said yes.
Lacrosse is a major contributor to the heart and soul of our nation. You'll be hooked once you pick up a stick and join the fastest game on 2 feet. Find out why lacrosse is one of the fastest growing sports across Canada. From girls and boys to men and women, there's a level of play waiting for you.
Billy Smith here with Team Canada. Been lucky enough to play our national sports since I was 4 years old. That's 31 years. Come join us. You have a lifetime of fun waiting for you.
The Canadian Lacrosse Association is committed to growing the sport nationwide, from a grassroots level to the pros, delivering health, fitness, fun, and friendship to young Canadians on a consistent basis. The integrity and accountability of lacrosse at every level allows players, coaches, and officials to achieve their highest possible standards.
Hey guys, I'm Joey Caputo of Team Canada. Let's help grow the game. Let's get kids out playing lacrosse. It's our summer national sport, and we need to get it going. So hopefully we see you at the rink.
Lacrosse, our game, our country, our national summer sport. Get registered today. Grow the game. The Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame and Museum, dedicated to preserving the rich history of our national summer sport. Come and see some of the many artifacts that make this game uniquely Canadian. From the creators of the First Nations gift to our country, to the display honoring the 7 consecutive Minto Cups of the Green Gaels. Whether you're 9 or 99, there's something for everyone on display. Proud to be a part of the St. Catharines community for over 20 years, we're conveniently located in the St. Catharines Museum and Welland Canal Centre. To book a group tour, simply call us at 1-800-305-5134. The Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame and Museum. Our game, our country, our national summer sport. Come and be a part of Ontario lacrosse history.
back at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center, where the Oakville Titans lead 7-2 after the first period. We saw Warren Hill lift it, albeit briefly. But we have switched sides here, and it is the fast change period for the offenses. And as much as the Titans have told us they're a fast and young team, Six Nations teams, generally speaking, are always quick in transition. Explanation given to Riley Johnson is after he loses the faceoff due to a violation from John Sutcliffe. Shovel pass back up top. Renault knocked down by Montour. One of those speedy guys we talked about. As Cree Blakely, though, able to get back. Haven't heard from Blakely yet. Despite being the Oakville Titans leader in points in the playoffs. Another slip here from a Titans defender. That time Trevor Smith allows Rance Weiss to get all the way to the crease. And I'm not sure if that was a crease call or it went out of bounds. The Rivermen bench is arguing the possession call. But regardless, Nolan Apers now. Apers to the far side. He goes straight to the net, gets it back. And that'll be 8-2. Their winning goal the other night was scored on a somewhat controversial possession call that Oakville wasn't happy about, so they do get one back here. Although, like we said, the game winner in triple overtime has a bit more beef behind it than an 8-2 goal in the second period, early in the second period of a best-of-5 series. Blaze McCullough taking it back here. High pass for Bridle. He takes a high shot as well after taking a minute to set himself. Now John St. John back over the restraining line. To the far side, a cutter. And again, they look for Apers. This time it just rolls off the head of the stick. And that'll allow the Rivermen to come out. Farmer finds a man off the bench. Now falling is the Rivermen player. Still gets it. And back to Roger Weiss, who lets a hard shot go. And I believe that was Van Every with the beautiful pickup. Either him or Riley Miller, someone putting in work on the turf. Very high pick as now Van Every goes down in the corner. 3 men on Weiss as he falls. As it's picked up by Van Every. Now a skipper in for Dylan Lord. Wendy finding that and quickly getting the paddle on it. So it can't go any further. 2.5 gone in the period. Already 1 in the period for the Titans here. Rivermen right to left in this period, as we said off the top. Still in their black uniforms, red helmets and shoulder caps, white numbers. Wenster Green, an awkward shot with the wooden stick. He's a player that I thought normally plays with a aluminum shaft plastic head. But coming out with the woody here, and I think showed it a little bit on that shot. And you can discuss amongst yourselves at home. As the Titans now, Bridle coming off the bench. His pass goes errant, ending up off the glass as Greg Longboat keeps. After faking the pass to the far side, I thought he had made it as he gets to the crease and then shot over top of Wendy. Trailing the play now. Oh, speaking of high shots, Brett Olbickus lets one go. Nearly hit the shot clock on top of the glass and had a few people in the end stands ducking out of the way. Around the back from Murray Porter. So he gets to race Weiss. Another behind the back shot. We saw John St. John score like that from almost the exact same spot. Howdice Miracle now trying it. But that one off the arm of Wendy. We mentioned Murray Porter. Rich Porter, the trainer, longtime trainer of the Six Nations Rivermen. I believe the Junior B Rebels as well, if I'm not mistaken. 2-on-1 though here for the Titans as Jubenville dancing around the crease, waved off by John Sutcliffe. That definitely got behind Warren Hill. Not sure if it touched down. He gives the explanation as on the run by the bench. See if the Rivermen can capitalize here once again. Not initially though, as the pass goes errant. Rich Porter, the longtime trainer of the Rivermen, asking us before the game to give a shout out, a happy birthday shout out next week to Dewey Porter. This will be the last time we'll get a chance to do that here on a Rivermen broadcast. The lead official, Roger Nurse, was breaking up a scrum in the corner while the trail ref, John Sutcliffe, caught Wayne Van Every engaged in something and handed that to the Titans. Interesting call there. Reset the shot clock and then the washout. But the shot clock does go down to 20 seconds now as the Titans start to regroup. Immediately off the bench, Nick Ribka in to set a bunch of picks on that far side. That opens a shot for Clary Blakely. Save made, and it's picked up by Apers. Apers, Ribka, back for Apers now. He'll shovel back up top for Renault, who's been stuck on 2 goals for a while. Dallas Bridle, the same thing, as his shot goes 12-6. And seeing that well was Warren Hill. Definitely a much better second period for Hill than he had in the first, although still a 6-goal lead. Now 6 minutes gone in our second period for the Oakville Titans. Dylan Lord and Chris Young jawing at each other as they head up the floor. Remember, it was Lord into the back of the helmet of Young in that first period, the only penalty so far of the game. 2-minute high sticking minor. Shot there, Hill sees it, not sure where the rebound was as it squeaked out the back door, and Dylan Lord back to recover out of the crease. He'll give it to Rod Squire, who has one of the 2 Six Nations goals here tonight in transition. Rivermen player falling in front. Rod Squire with one, Dylan Lord with the other. And look at the ball movement here, and I'm not sure if that was post or a Hill, but either way, Nolan Apers absolutely robbed. Back down the other way, a fake and a goal by Riley Johnson in transition. But how about the crease play just prior to it? Pardon me, from Warren Hill. Again, not sure if that did indeed hit the post or if Hill got it, but either way, that'll make it 8-3. Well, they give Warren Hill an assist, so he must have made the save. And it was a fantastic one. Just after we said he looked like he was settling in. John St. John now trying to find space. Tried to pass it through a double team, and it was off a stick. Another one off a Riverman stick, this time Ashton Jacobs. And Montour from the wall. Down for Lord. Lord now takes his 4th slash on his way to circle around the crease. Sent back up to the restraining line. Caught in a shooting position. Chayton King does release the shot, and Wendy running out of time in the crease. Roger Weiss didn't have the arm counting. So as soon as the shot clock hit 25, the bench was calling for it, but possession allowed to continue here as the Titans have a late change. Gauge board still out there as a sidearm shot comes. Nolan Apers again. A lot of number 11 here in the period from the left shooter side. Hill getting the better of him this time. Here's Johnny Ray up in transition. Spinning his way back through is Greg Longboat before he's finally taken down. We haven't heard a lot from Cree Blakely, the playoff point leader, but not from Greg Longboat either so far in tonight's game. Another great save from Warren Hill as Brandon Slade was cutting in. Cut the angle towards the crease. Over to the far side. Back in front. Lord just took a two-hander to the midsection. And Chris Young, even before the whistle was blown, was already running off. He'll get a 2-minute minor for slashing. Another one that perhaps could have been a bit more severe than that. Lord getting some attention from the training staff over on the visitors' bench. Our first look, if I'm not mistaken, at the Rivermen power play. Didn't take long for the Titans to score on theirs, and the Rivermen now trailed by 5. As Miracle has it, his shot saved by Wendy. Bit of a visitor's bounce off the end boards as it came back into the pile. Jubenville hard on Miracle now. They're still shoving with each other as it's picked up here by the Titans. Down the far side, Blaze McCullough trying to find open floor. Dangerously close to the over and back line as it's sent to the far side. Now all the way back up by Brett Olbickus. Dying shot clock, so ripping a shot was Ribka. And Warren Hill there to save that one as we approach the halfway mark of the second period. Just one goal aside here in the middle frame, although it's still a 5-goal lead for the Titans. Van Every, top spot. Faked low, went high, then went straight down the pipe as Wendy made the save. And again, late in the 5 count for Wendy to get it out of the crease. Now brought up over center. Brandon Wallace. With only a couple seconds left in the 10 to get over center as they're killing a penalty. Olbickus close to the line. And you heard somebody yell, "Watch the line," from the bench. As the double team of the Rivermen were high. But the shot bounces wide and we played down the floor by Warren Hill. Ray's Weiss looking in with it. Weiss up top. Hard shot here from Roger Weiss. It ends up in the corner. Loose ball. Dylan Lord is back out there as it's dug out by the Titans just as their penalty expires, and Chris Young heads to the bench as Wallace brings it into the corner. Bridle with the pick as the chin strap has come loose on the helmet of Brandon Wallace. Down the floor, Van Every. Wendy with a great save. Wendy with another great save in on the crease. Oh, my. Riley Miller, the second shot. Van Every the first. And Wendy better than both of them. As we said off the top, this building has been very good to Craig Wendy over the past, 8 months or so. Since his season with the Toronto Monarchs here. And now with the Oakville Titans. Couple fakes there from Slade as the Titans take over. Back for John St. John. Round a pick in front, but it hits off. May have even been his teammate's stick. St. John has to chase it heads up at the center line as big hit was about to arrive there from Jake Cook. They all fall down as Murray Porter comes in, the twist at the end, and it's through the legs. So rolling across the line by Wendy. But just scoots free. Sliding over was Farmer to take his man out, and that opens space on the far side for the shot and the goal. If I'm not mistaken, Bridle has the hat trick as he goes over with a big hug for Trevor Smith, who sat in there and took the big whack. On the slide from Brock Farmer. That may have been Dylan Lord, actually, as we get a water break here. Reminder to everyone out there, before tonight's game, we did get the incorrect link sent out. So some of you, I hope you're enjoying Game 3 of the Meredith Cup. But if you are tuning in and you know someone that was looking for tonight's game, can send that along to them, as we're 7:40 left in the second period. A number of check-ins from all across Canada. We heard that some people are out at the festival watching. And we've got viewers in Boston we'd like to say hello to as well. And, of course, all across Ontario, wherever you are internationally, we thank you for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. As we said, Junior C Ontario Championship Lacrosse coming your way. We've got Junior B National Championships coming your way. And then, of course, the under 15, under 18 Field Lacrosse Championships coming up Labor Day weekend here on the JVI Sports Network. Real excited to end the summer in a big way here on the channel. From in behind the crease now, Oakville have stretched their lead to 6, trying to make it 7, as Hill wasn't sure where it was. It hit off the post and bounced straight out to Kessler Doolittle, who runs down the floor. That shot off the crossbar from Joe Miracle, who was streaking off the bench. And that one went way high, a very high ceiling here at the track. But off the girders and back down in play, where Oakville ends up with an interception board. That's Gage board across center. Alex for the short pass to Wallace. Across the floor, now in the corner. Bridle getting it back for Wallace again, as he's just outside the fan with 5 on the shot clock. Stick nearly gets high. Wallace still with it and looking for the foot, possibly, of Warren Hill, but doesn't find that, and the shot clock will sound as the Rivermen get another possession here. Again, our Twitter information is at JVI Video. As this shot by Race Weiss straight down the pipe, and one breaks out. Down the floor, looking, couple fakes and a goal for Brandon Slade. And as we said, signing a contract to come to Toronto Rock Training Camp, which will be in this building in a couple weeks' time. But Craig Wendy, how about the feed? I believe that's his second assist of the night. And it makes it 10-3 in favor of the home side. A tight series the entire way, pretty much. Tight playoffs. As we said, both first-round matchups. The Rivermen taking the North Stars. Having to win their 4th and 5th games, the Rivermen, to get to this spot. Pardon me, I think Game 4 of that series did go to the North Stars, as the Rivermen make it here in 5 games between Brooklyn and the Titans to get to this final series. On the road to the President's Cup, which will be in Nanaimo from August 26th to September 2nd. Lord tied up on the crease, nearly tried the back and forth fake shot, but the crease violation gives it to Oakville after some words between Joe Miracle and Cam Mancini. Exactly 5 minutes now remaining in our middle frame. Number of chops on Dallas. Bridle in the middle. Renault is the man who's going to take the shot. Likes to go low three-quarter. And Warren Hill was right there to take the 5-hole away as now Montour back the other way. Puts all of everything into that shot. And a big stick check. Sends the glove flying for one of the Oakville players. Slade up top. St. John. Slade again. Slade rushing in, a bouncer through the legs of Hill. And he looks down, not sure how that got in. But Brandon Slade continues to stretch this Oakville lead. It's up to 8 now. Face off, played back. It's the Titans who gain the face-off possession here. As John St. John breaks off the restraining line, and that shot ends up somewhere in Warren Hill. Oh, as he stands up, it was in the back of the shorts, actually, it looked like. Wide shot by the Rivermen as the Titans work back. Gauge board. First one down for Oakville. As he heads up at the crowd as Apers. Pass a little too high for him, off the top of his stick. And up over the glass. Greg Longboat, a well-timed stick check, foils his shot attempt. And now the Titans again picking this one up. Also, a couple weeks' time here, I think, at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center Junior NLL tournament, which is always a great event here in Oakville. John St. John looked like he was looking to shovel it back to Renault, who set the pick. And the pass didn't quite get there as the shot clock will sound here for Oakville. And the Rivermen to take over. 8-goal lead for the Oakville Titans. As a big hit there, Dylan Lord coming through, and was expecting at least a conversation. Dylan Lord having one with John Sutcliffe, but all the Oakville jerseys decide to walk away. As Nolan Apers has it again. Far side, Bridle. No passing options. Looked for a shot. No, that wasn't available either. So he elects to go to Cree Blakely. His shot goes wide. 5 on the shot clock now as Eddie Renault is going to circle the crease. Low and wide shot. Bypasses Warren Hill, resets the shot clock. As Oakley Thomas, a few words in front of the Oakville bench as some of these Rivermen players perhaps getting a little frustrated from a tight playoff so far to what's been a pretty dominating performance from the home side here tonight. Big defensive stand in this game for Oakville. Here's a shot as Warren Hill makes the save. And Hill was not at his best in the first period, but Wendy has been really good since the faceoff, and that's pretty much been the story. As we're about to hit the last minute of play here in the second period. Van Every picking up the ball in the corner, and someone just got jumped. Is the only way to really put that on the crease, and I think it's Lord. Brendan Wallace on Dylan Lord, I believe, as Lord Went down Jubenville. Is getting sent off. And a couple players on that bench know Jubenville pretty well. Calling him by name, asking him. Ray's Weiss nearly followed him to the penalty box before he was sent away. He gets 2 minor penalties, does Josh Jubenville. Looked like two high stick and 2 for rough for Jubenville. As Dylan Lord has been his usual pesky self here tonight. Oh, Joe Miracle, maybe one too many moves as Wendy went with him nearly the entire way. Thought perhaps the second one was his best chance to take the shot. But at the end of it, Wendy matches him move for move. Lord in the face of Brett Obickus now way high away from the action. Trying to see if Obickus will do something. Meanwhile, Montour wrestles the ball away from the Titans. 20 seconds left in the period. Fake pass, taking the shot is Lord. And he was in the crease, and interference call, I believe against Jamie McMahon. I thought Lord was getting called for the crease violation. But the Rivermen will set up here for the final 10 seconds. Only 5 men in the set, and probably a good thing here with 6 left to go. The rush is on for Gage Board. Nobody's called timeout. No time here to do so either, as Board will just run away from pressure. And end our second period 11-3 in favor of the Oakville Titans. Winner tonight will have a chance to book their ticket to the President's Cup tomorrow when the series shifts back to the Gaylord Palace Arena in Six Nations. But for now, it's 11-3, all Oakville here in game number 3 at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. We'll take a timeout and be back with more Senior B playoff action on the JVI Sports Network. Teams are back on the floor as we get set for the third period here in Oakville, Ontario, the Toronto Rock Athletic Center, as the JVI Sports Network brings you Game 3 coverage of the Senior B, the Ontario Lacrosse Association Senior B Championship Series. The Oakville Titans leading 11-3 at this point. A lot of lacrosse across the country here tonight as the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League Junior A final series between the Okotoks Raiders and the Calgary Mountaineers. Their final game underway tonight. This is all legal. Well, not that part. Legal here in the summer ball as the NLL changing the face-off rule this year that you can only take one step. The OLA has yet to adopt that. But you're still not allowed to have it lodged in the back of the stick on a face-off. As Chris Young was about to parade down the Gardner Expressway with that one. Event every shot completely soaked. Believe that was either Brett Olbickus or Jamie McMahon, the man down low. I think it was Olbickus, the high guy, on the power play, or penalty kill here, sorry, for the Oakville Titans. Wendy takes that one off the mask. Cross crease, scores, and 1:59 left on the clock of the double minor, so that should get Jubenville out of the box. And Rivermen coach Stu Montour wants the refs to check if the time was correct. He's saying the clock ran. So they'll check the times is the procedure for this right now on the paper in the box. Trying to remember what it read when we went into the dressing rooms. I thought it was somewhere around 2:45. 19:09 right now on the clock. And 1:59 was the time as referee John Sutcliffe will check in again. I think he's going to check the paper and the clock and everything now. Which gives us a chance to, in our shout-outs, we missed New Mexico, who has let us know we've got viewers in New Mexico tonight in the YouTube chat room. Anytime we're live, the YouTube chat is open, as well as our Twitter account at JVI Video. If you want to tweet in, we'll try and give you a shout-out, and lots of opportunities coming up to do that. John Sutcliffe now going to prove to Stu Montour that everything's correct as he takes the game sheet out of the penalty box and over to the visitors' bench. Again, it was a double minor penalty in that second period to Josh Jubenville. 2 for roughing, 2 high sticking, which carried over into this period. And Stu Montour, when we looked up at the clock, it said 1:59 when the goal went in on the penalty time. So Stu Montour arguing over 2 seconds right now so we can get another 2-minute power play. But he's now given up the argument. We are 5-on-5. Again, our next broadcast, as we were going through our schedule, Sunday, the Meredith Cup continues. Game number 4. Peterborough sweeping the games in Peterborough, and to be quite frank, they weren't all that close. They are available on our channel, as was game 1, which was way better, especially if you're a fan of Wilmot. St. John making his case for his second of the game, hits the inside of the post before it bounces out, and Warren Hill beats the line to the bench as they go 6 set. Here do the Rivermen. Hill on the bench. 6 attacker is out. 10 on the shot clock now as Montour is up top. Shot from Van Every. Rebound rolls into the corner nearly where Riley Miller picks it up. That did get the reset. Delay here is Hill scampers back to the bench. Another 6-man attack. There's Van Every, Miller, Lord of the corner. Back for Van Every again. Heads up Roger Nurse in the corner. As it's brought back down there by Chayton King. King will retreat all the way to center as he kills enough time to get Warren Hill back in the cage with 2 minutes gone here in the third period. Again, this is a best of 5 championship series tied at 1-1. So the winner of tonight's game will have a chance tomorrow at the Gaylord Palace Arena, scheduled for 7 p.m. down in Six Nations to book their ticket to the President's Cup in Nanaimo BC this year. Hill made the save. I thought it was caught in his equipment as he broke to the bench again. But it did drop back down. We're going to see him do that all the time. And now you worry about the conditioning of the goaltender. He's getting his sprints in. Already saw Keegan Thomas once. Wendy sees the open cage. He scored in the winter earlier. Hill trying to catch up to it. He doesn't. And Craig Wendy puts it in the empty cage. How about a goalie goal, ladies and gentlemen? Eight-goal lead now for the Oakville Titans. And I think that's 4 points on the night for the netminder. 3 assists and a goal we've got him for upstairs. His second in this building in about a 4-month span. Have a season, Craig Wendy. Goodness gracious. Chris Young a bit slow getting up here as he was taken down off that face-off. Ball skips into the corner, played by John St. John. Hard shot down the pipe. Cree Blakely still without a goal in this game. Why would their top scorer get one? Their goalie has one. Everything going Oakville's way here tonight as they now lead by 8 off the goal from their netminder. Goodness gracious. Roger Weiss looking for Rance. It skipped between him and, Chayton King. Dylan Lord in the area as well, and they squabbled over the loose ball until the end of the shot clock. Van Every. Windmill into the midsection of the ball carrier there. Officials let that go. A couple more slashes down on the crease. Arms still have yet to go up as we get a crease violation against the Titans. And again, Warren Hill leading the charge to the bench. One player beat him to the bench on the line change, and he was the guy standing right by the door. Riley Miller to the far side. Shot here. And interference. Dylan Lord was involved with Blaze McCullough in a shocking turn of events. As the Titans get it back up over center. Dylan Lord high on defense now. As Blakely sends it to the corner, and if the Redmen are in desperation mode, I don't want to say that the Titans are in stall mode just yet. But no real sense of urgency, and as I say that, they score on the empty net. As it's Brandon Slade completing his hat trick to make it 13-4. Apologize for some video issues here tonight. I've seen it a couple times. Tried to work on the issue in the intermission break, but we'll try and, again, get that figured out over the next few days. But tonight we do apologize for it. It is 13-4. The most recent goal scorer, Brandon Slade, with his third here in the Rock Building. Some of their brass watching in as well, getting a good look at their recent contract signee this week. Ahead of what will be training camp. Of course, the draft and combine still yet to go, and there's a shot. Getting through by Chayton King. Well, a bit of back and forth now in the third period. Still a lot to play. Yet in the game, but still 8 goals. You get the sense if it is lacrosse, and if they can get on a run, perhaps the Rivermen can get back into it, but they've just put Keegan Thomas back in. He was in for about 45 seconds earlier on in the game and was beaten on the only shot attempt, albeit it was a 2-on-1. But as mentioned earlier, with 6 minutes gone in the period, most of that was spent with Warren Hill running wind sprints. So he'll get a breather for a couple minutes as that Oakville shot went wide, and it allows Six Nations to come up over center now. Nearly intercepted by Jubenville, who steps up. Jubenville works his way in by the crease as Race Weiss will keep it alive. 3 on the shot clock. A big hit there in the corner. I think it might have been the follow-through on the shot, hitting the helmet of Brett Olbickus, possibly. Excuse me, Gage Board. Bridle. Still with it to Nolan Apers to the far side. Bridle gets it back. Bridle dancing around. A couple whacks from Rod Squire, who has a goal in this game. As a sidearm shot from Renaud. Gets through, in on Thomas. And I think that's his first save in the game. In this, his second stint between the pipes for the Rivermen. Johnny Ray up for Greg Longboat. Longboat perhaps tugged a little bit there by Olbickus as Montour regains the ball. A nice drag move to get it through, and the help sliding by as there's 2 men spying the netminder, Wayne Van Every and Tom Montour. Now Wendy asking Olbickus for a bit of assistance if they try that again. Miracle bringing it up, and Keegan Thomas's turn to sprint it down, and Wayne Van Every will get it behind Craig Wendy. Van Every, Weiss, and Greg Longboat, we showed you off the top. The top players in terms of playoff stats for the Rivermen squad. And out of those 3 players, that is the first goal for any of them. Only the 6th tonight for Six Nations. Clean face-off win this time for Chris Young, but work to be done for Six Nations as the lead is 7. Clean intercept, though, as Kessler Doolittle will race down. Doolittle passing off. Pass back to the far side, a bit behind Chayton King. Picked up by, Nick Ribka. And Ribka for Cree Blakely now. Blakely, Bridle. In the middle, spinning back. John St. John way up top. will pass it back for Renault. As Nolan Apers steps into the hard shot. 5 left as Blakely lets one go. Thomas with the save. He's looking to the bench. See if he gets the call. It doesn't come yet. So I imagine this possession he'll stay right where he is. As Van Every puts it up for Race Weiss. Good battle there on the far side as Weiss now comes in to help out on that man-in-man play. In the middle, Greg Longboat to the far side as Van Every's rising shot skipped off Weiss and sailed high over top. Van Every straight into Jubenville, who gets up, nearly went after Van Every, and that looked high from here, but Roger Nurse down in the corner. Both officials were spread like down to the end boards in each side, and that happened right at center, so they couldn't be farther away from it. And they both keep their arms down again. Only one penalty aside, I believe. Dylan Lord got one. Pardon me, Chris Young got one, and then the double minor to Jubenville, the only penalties to speak of. Big fake there by Chayton King, and Wendy didn't move, so he recovers to make a good second effort save. Now we will get a penalty as Miracle puts a slash into Cam Mancini with the ball on the ground and on the far side of the floor. So that perhaps could be my mistake, as I just praised the guys for staying out of the box. And Six Nations gets back in as we just passed halfway mark here of the third period. 10 minutes remaining. Oakville scored on their only power play opportunity of the game. Didn't take long for Dallas Bridle to put it home. He'll be the top man here again. St. John into the corner. St. John and Bridle playing catch up top. Now the pick from Blakely. Opens room for Bridle to shoot, and Thomas makes another save. But the reset will be given. It'll be a full 30 here for the Titans. Cree Blakely into the corner. Bridle fakes the pass. No looks it into the corner, and he ate a high stick after the fact. And it'll be 5-on-3 here for the Titans for a minute 18 as the high sticking call sends his man to the box. And that is only a 2-minute penalty. It can be a 5 if the official deems it appropriate, but Ashton Jacobs will head off for just 2 minutes here. Different, again, from the NLL rule. As Bridle puts it into the corner. Bridle to St. John. They put 4 men in the set and keep one high. As Bridle sends it through the crowd. Save made by Thomas. Racing up over center, putting the brakes on, Johnny Ray. JVI Sports Network happy to present the Founders Cup next week. Free broadcasts once again, as it was in 2016. The Canadian National Junior B Championship. So be sure that you're subscribed here so you can catch the Junior B Championship. Congratulations to the Allura Mohawks, who last night defeated the Green Gales to clinch their spot out in Akwesasne. The Turtle Dome, the Medicine Men will be the hosts out of the First Nations Lacrosse Association, along with the Seneca War Chiefs, Coquitlam Adenacks, and I believe the other spots are still up for grabs. Coquitlam will send the North Shore Kodiaks as that shot bounces just wide as Brandon Slade a stare down. And Rod Squire puts his stick into Slade as he was running away, and Slade's going to take a penalty for standing there and eating a slash. It's the way I see it up here anyways. They were having words the rest of the way up the floor. Slade couldn't believe it. The home bench can't either. Still 42 seconds remaining in the Ashton Jacobs high sticking penalty. So we'll be 4-on-3 in favor of Oakville as they double the team the ball right now in the stick of Greg Longboat. They do enough to break it free, and it rolls into the crease of Wendy. Two minutes for taunting to Brandon Slade. The slash was the obvious one to Rod Squire, but I wanted to hear what they were giving Slade as a penalty. Shot clock about to expire here on Oakville. It does, and Bridle sends it into the corner. So it'll be 4-on-4 for 1:10. We're 7 minutes away from the end of regulation, and it's 13-6 for Oakville, who have led the entire way. They started up 2-0 and just pulled away from there after it was 2-1, 7-2 after the first. And that was pretty much it, just a bit of a late start for Warren Hill in this one, and a great game from Craig Wendy once again. Tie up in the corner, and now sticks and gloves down, and Murray Porter with a swing, and a couple more as his man's on the ground. Not sure if there was an agreement there or not. Murray Porter and Eddie Renaud got tied up in the corner. It looked like they were both about ready to agree on it. And then once the equipment went, it's both gloves for Porter and just the helmet there from Renaud, who picks up the ball, and I don't know if he threw it at Montour or not, but Montour went chasing down the floor in the direction of Renaud, and Roger Nurse gets between them. And now Montour, oh, he's sorting out the yard sale. I thought he was headed to the box, but Renaud gets up and goes to the bench. So set up for an exciting game number 4 tomorrow night, Gaylord Palace Arena. It is a Saturday at 7 p.m. Porter gets the roughing call. Again, a 7 p.m. start at the Gaylord Palace Arena tomorrow in Six Nations, where it looks like Oakville will take a 2-1 series lead. The Oakville bench asking why that's only 2. It was 2 for roughing from Murray Porter. Here's Blakely in the corner. St. John. No look back up top, and that shot attempt stuffed by Kessler Doolittle, who steps up. John St. John back with it. His pass to the crease. And blindly thrown there. It looked like Mancini, perhaps. Getting a shot on the power play now. Mancini chasing Riley Johnson. Jubenville will pick it out of the crease as we've got 6 minutes left. And the only penalty left in the box as they clear now is the Murray Porter roughing minor penalty. Cree Blakely to the far side. St. John, Dallas Bridle, after getting a shift off, gets it back. Takes a number of hacks at the end of the shot clock and then dumps it into empty space. If required, if you're in the Oakville area, if we need a game 5, it'll be August the 14th at 8 p.m. The Titans hoping that won't be the case, as it looks like they should take this one with only 5 minutes remaining. And a great feed on the 2-on-1. And a nice recovery, though, by Joe Miracle to race it back and take Trevor Smith out of the play. Smith now up on Rance Weiss. And a big slash from Smith as there's only 10 seconds remaining in the Oakville power play here. Shot from Longboat, save made by Wendy. It resets. Here is the Titans will get it. And Murray Porter will come back out onto the floor. He goes straight to the box, and we'll play 5-on-5 here for 4.5. Goalie switch in behind the play as the Burlington Chiefs graduate Jesse Legault will get some action here for the final 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Craig Wendy, a goal, 3 assists, and a number of key saves tonight for the Oakville Titans. We'll get the remainder of the evening off, it looks like, as Brendan Slade takes that one right in the back and shows no effects of the hard shot. 5 left, and Legault, welcome to the game, as that one sails through and bounces off his chest pad. Off the boards, where was that intended for? Kessler Doolittle. Interesting, Doolittle, most of his junior career, here we go, I was about to say, but it looks like a tie-up. Race Weiss has a handful of Oakville face mask. And now a swing will put him in the box as Cam Mancini would not answer anything that Race Weiss was sending his way. Words between the benches now is Rod Squire, and now Kessler Doolittle sharing with the benches. Couple players with wooden sticks, as we mentioned before, on actually both sides of the benches now. Kessler Doolittle played most of his junior career with a wooden stick, and I noticed tonight does not have one, which is kind of interesting, as they are, I believe, legal. Brock Farmer and Brett Olbickus, some chopping on this side, chopping on that side as well, as Riley Johnson and Nolan Apers get in each other's face. Farmer and Olbickus still going at each other. Tom Montour, a couple of slashes to his man over on the boards. Meanwhile, ball being carried past everybody, and the shot made by Nick Ribka, the save made by Keegan Thomas. Oakville keeping most of their top players on the bench here for the remainder of the game. And as the defense took the floor that time, they said, keep your head up. Titans expecting shenanigans as there's a big hit by Farmer down in the corner. Jubenville, meanwhile, has carried it up to center as we pass the 3-minute warning. And it looks like tomorrow night the Oakville Titans will have a chance to punch their ticket to the President's Cup. Minto about to get underway. Brampton, Calgary, Okotoks, and Coquitlam set to do battle in Calgary. President's the Man Cup here in Ontario coming up in September as Jubenville intercepts, and we'll carry it up over center again. It's a great time to be a lacrosse fan, and don't forget the Founders Cup free broadcasts of the Founders Cup all next week, starting on August the 14th, culminating with the gold medal game August the 18th. I believe it's a 5 o'clock start on the 18th. Gary, is that right? 5 o'clock, we believe, on August the 18th, the gold medal game of the Founders Cup. It's a Saturday, and Meredith Cup action, game number 4 on Sunday as well. Be sure you subscribe to our channel, following us on Twitter at JVI Video for all the links and schedules. As we're down to 90 seconds here in Oakville. And don't forget the Canadian Field Lacrosse Championships Labor Day weekend as well. Just announced the JVI Sports Network will be covering those. Wayne Van Every goes down as now gloves come up. Riley Johnson is the Rivermen player. Brett Olbickus gets taken down here. They're still going on the ground Speaking of on the ground, Wayne Van Every hasn't moved as the trainer comes out. Brennan Wallace, I think, was the man who was in the vicinity. I didn't see what happened, but Van Every went down holding, not sure if it was his chest, shoulder, neck. But a lot of discussions right now. Down on the floor as things start to get a little bit out of hand. A frustrating night for the Rivermen, who have trailed the entire way. Our main concern, though, with Wayne Van Every, who you see getting attention, down on the floor. If you're interested in JVI covering your event, please visit us at JVI Video. You can send us a message there, or the contact page of JVISportsNetwork.com. The information for our producer Gary Morrison is there, and we would love to come out and cover your event. We try and do as much lacrosse as we can, but definitely open to whatever it is that you've got going on, and we'd love to help support your club, your event, and bring as much as we can to those out there. As we said before, international audience for us. We had folks from Finland watching the Meredith Cup the other night as well. All of that sorts into a goal for Kessler Doolittle. The 7th of the game for the Rivermen. I was about to say it sorts out to a Rivermen power play. 11 seconds into it. And the one that makes Oakville shorthanded is a Brendan Wallace 5-minute slashing penalty. Van Every went straight off the floor to the dressing room. So Doolittle's goal makes it 13-7 with 1:10 left to play. But Wallace in the box now for another 4:45. We remain 4-on-3 because that being the major penalty. They get one more goal before that comes off the board. Final minute now, though, in what surely is going to be an Oakville Titans victory. They'll take a 2-1 lead in the series. And again, it's a best of 5, so if they can win tomorrow off the post, off the back of Jesse Legault, and then he lost it after that as it rolls into the back of the net. So another one here in garbage time for the Rivermen to make it a bit more respectable is Greg Longboat, the first time we've called his name on the power play. And that should clear the major. We should go 5-on-5 here. Although Wallace will remain in the box because he's got to serve that entire 5 minutes, which, pending overtime, I guess, will expire after time expires. But that is quite unlikely with a 5-goal lead here in the final 40 seconds. Doolittle looking for a second. That shot off the glove of Legault. Rolls into the corner. Doolittle again getting a lot of time here as they go to Lord on the far side. I thought if they wanted to curb some of the enthusiasm, he may be a guy that's finished on the bench, but Doolittle down the floor. He'll stay up there now as the ball is brought back into the Oakville zone for the final 5 seconds. The Oakville Titans will take a stranglehold on the series, 2-1, and have a chance to clinch tomorrow night, although it is in the Six Nations barn. Every single game of the series has been won by the home team, and the Rivermen and their fans hoping that trend continues tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the Gaylord Palace Arena in Six Nations. 13-8 is your final score here from the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. Our next broadcast, Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m., game number 4 of the Meredith Cup. Our director and producer tonight's been Gary Morrison. I'm Matthew Carrick. On behalf of the JVI Sports Network, thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.